Washington, D.C. We're interviewing Sanusi Imran Abdullahi, the Executive Director of the Lake Chad... Executive Secretary of the Lake Chad Basin Commission. First of all, thank you for the interview.
Thank you, Michel.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit of the history. The commission was set up in 1964,
Yep.
so it's 50 years old, and also the mission of the commission.
The commission was established or founded on 22nd May 1964 by the 4 countries bordering the Lake Chad directly, and that makes the commission 50 years old now. The mandate of the commission basically is to manage the water resources in the Lake Chad and to manage the wetlands within the basin and to encourage integrated water resource management between member countries. Also, we are supposed to preserve and protect the environment and the ecosystem in the basin. And the third most important also is to ensure regional integration and cooperation between member countries and ensure peace within the member countries and also resolve the conflicts if they exist.
Now, the lake, many years ago, was 25,000 square kilometers. Now it's estimated to be approximately 2,000 to 2,500 square kilometers. And this affects over 30 million Africans from those 4 countries who are farmers and fishermen. This has been a big question. How is the commission going to refurbish Lake Chad?
Well, as you said rightly, the lake has lost about 90% of its surface area and volume, and several attempts have been made, especially commissioning experts to study the very many options in trying to replenish the lake. One of the key programs that we have on the table is the transfer of water from Ubangi to Lake Chad. We will do, of course, many other substantial part of the activities to revive the lake within the catchment area, but within the basin. But we feel this water transfer is the key thing. We are hoping to transfer water from the Congo Basin into the Lake Chad.
How much water are you talking about transferring from the Ubangi, which is a tributary to the Congo River, and how much will this bring to Lake Chad in terms of raising the lake waters?
Yeah, we are hoping to achieve a transfer rate of about 320 cubic meter per second from the combined dams that we propose to have at Palombo and Brea. Palombo is on River Ubangi and Brea is on River Koto. And we expect this transfer to increase the volume of water in the lake by 1.5 meters approximately, and that will translate to about 7,500 square kilometers of the surface area of the lake, both in the north and the south portion of it.
But now that still will leave the lake estimating at 10,000 square meters, 40% of its original size. Are there any plans to bring the lake back to its larger size?
Michel, as you know, generally, globally, the climate has changed. At the time when the Transaqua study was proposed, the effect of climate change has not been that drastic. So globally, in that area, we have much less rainfall as we would normally have 50 years ago. So we are being realistic. We will not be too hopeful to say we want to bring the lake back to its original surface. But if we have it 50%, we will solve 90% of our problem.
Now, you mentioned the Transaqua Project, which was developed by the Italian engineering firm in the late 1970s. And this talks about a much bigger concept. It talks about taking 5% of the water basin of the Congo River, which is 1.9 trillion cubic meters of water per year, building a canal and using that large body of water, which would be 100 billion cubic meters, only 5% of the Congo, linking up with the Ubangi to then go into River Chari and refurbish the lake. without that large body of water, you're not going to be able to build a lake up to its size. And so is the commission pretty much figured this will never happen, or is there a process involved where you think this could happen?
Like I said, Michelle, we are being realistic and practical. The demand of water at that time in the Congo basin itself was very small. Now there are more population in the lake, in the Congo basin, and they have their own plans also as governments, entities in the Congo. So we are being realistic. We will not ask for too much. We will ask what we basically need for now. And they will imbibe also the culture of integrated water resource management best practice to see that the water we have is judiciously utilized so that it serves the purpose for which we need it. We don't just need the water just because we have space to have it. We need the water because we need it and we'll use it very well.
But do you envision a point in the future where you would more, right now you're saying you want to get up to half of the size of the original lake. Do you envision a point in the future where you could do more than that? Or are you accepting that this will be the future size of Lake Chad?
We are putting in programs on ground to encourage reforestation, to encourage microclimate situation in the area, to see if our actions will generally bring in more, hopefully more rains. Right. And the climate can change. There's so much talk about cloud seeding, and so many other aspects that we can employ in the future when we have the resources to do that.
Do you envision that so the major water transfer of your 5-year investment program is from the Ubangi, there's a price tag I read of $14.5 billion.
Yes.
Most of the countries except for Nigeria are very poor. So what are your plans for financing this?
We are putting our heads together to work on our program where the infrastructure that can produce returns are funded privately by private sector, and other services will be funded by the public sector. I am very optimistic that eventually the member states will put their heads together and finance substantial part of the program. Yes, I agree, but you know very well also the countries are becoming richer every day. We have uranium in Niger, we have oil, all countries. All we need is political will and the commitment of governments. We can fund it ourselves.
Yes, I think the other question that I mentioned to you is recently in July you had a meeting of the BRICS countries, yes. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they established what's called now a new development bank, of which South Africa is the regional headquarters for. Have you, and the purpose of this bank is to provide favorable financing for infrastructure, which the Western institutions have not done. Do you see this as a viable course of action to work with the BRICS and this new development bank?
In fact, this is a great opportunity for us, and a window opened that, in fact, it's not even a window, it's a door. And we are going to get in and try to make the best use of it.
Also, you mentioned this, we mentioned one project, which is the water transfer project. How is this investment plan going to include other areas of economic development, infrastructure? You mentioned energy. How are you looking at this as a driver for transforming the whole area into more productive activity?
The 5-year investment plan is divided into two. There is a transboundary program which is going to be managed by the Commission entirely, and there is the complementary actions by member countries which we call national action plans. And these national action plans are essentially to drive, essentially to ensure sustainable good governance, provision of infrastructure, and enabling environment for economic activities in the region. And we also have a program which will ensure security and peace in the region to allow activities to take place. So we have a host of activities that are planned to be sustainable and to drive economic activity to bring the people out of poverty and misery.
Now you have approximately 30 million people from the region involved in farming and fishing.
Yeah.
The original Transaqua program also saw major changes in city building, changes in the Central African Republic. If none of this was done, although it could have been done 30 years ago, then you look at conditions in this region today with underdevelopment, which leads to creating fertile ground for terrorist recruitment. You look at the situation in Central African Republic. If Transaqua had been acted on 3 or 4 decades ago, what do you think conditions would be like today?
Honestly, Michel, if this project was done yesterday, I wouldn't have been here talking to you. This is what we felt something went wrong. The founding fathers of the commission had the foresight to say, set up this commission so that we can have something for the future. Unfortunately, a few of the countries were unstable for quite some time. You know very well, Chad and the rest. So it's not too late if we have the full political will. It's not too late to address the situation, and I hope we do.
And how directly are the lives of the people of the entire region? Because it's not just the 4 countries. Libya is now part. I think Sudan is now part. I don't know. I think there's another country.
Sudan, Egypt, and the 2 Congos are observer members of the commission, and we are expecting also Algeria to join.
So if you take the total land area and the total population of these countries, this is a very large section of the whole continent. So the question is, will we be able to really carry out a transformative change, a major change for this area of the continent that will spread and emanate?
I believe you are conversant with the happenings in the African Union in Addis. The head of states of Africa have concluded and decided that the 2 areas of priority for action is the Lake Chad Basin and then the Congo forest. And we are also more priority than the Congo forest, because the Congo forest is not being threatened as Lake Chad is being threatened by climate change. And we have 35 million people now. In the next couple of years, it's going to be more than that.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't address the situation, we are just having a time bomb to explode. And I hope we do address the situation, because that area is now a hotspot, a breeding ground for so many forms of terrorism. And I very much hope that the international community will assist us, not necessarily by financial means, but give us advice and technical support to see that we address the situation. The world will be much better if we address the situation.
I couldn't agree more. Do you find in Europe and the United States, or the West in general, support for this concept of massive water transfer, or is there resistance to it?
We have been trying to get into the State Department for a couple of years now, but we've not been successful. But this meeting that has been co-organized by the African Center for Strategic Studies and the State Department, it looks like it has opened a window, and we are putting our head inside the window, and we're beginning to talk. And we hope very soon I'm going to invite them to one of the activities we have, maybe one of the security meetings we are going to have very shortly, and they promised me they will come. So when they come, they see the reality. I hope they do something.
Have you gotten any support from the West and any Western financial institutions?
We have support from the Germans.
Mm-hmm.
They've been quite supportive. The German government pledged €5 million at the Bologna donor conference.
Mm-hmm.
We also have political support, I would call it that, because I have not seen any amounts mentioned by the French, and I hope they do much better than that.
And have you gotten any support from China, Russia, India, South Korea, these countries that are pro-development, pro-infrastructure?
We had the opportunity, and we invited Mr. Putin to Bologna. Unfortunately, a political situation changed the equation. So we will wait for the situation to get better and get back to him. We're sure we'll have some support from Russia.
And what about China? Have you had any discussions with them on the
Yeah,
project?
we are in contact with China through an agency of the Chinese government in Nigeria, and very soon probably we'll be going to Addis to discuss at their office and see how we can get them involved in this program.
Well, thank you very much. The Lake Chad development for my organization, Executive Intelligence Review, this is something that has been very dear to our hearts for many years. We advocate the full transformation using all the facilities of the Transaqua program. However, we encourage and support anything that can be done to begin to reverse the desertification that's occurring. And that's one of the reasons to get the lake back up to its larger size is because, and you were correct earlier, we have to start bringing water, planting, so we increase the evapotranspiration process. Because otherwise we see the Sahel and the Sahara continuing to move south. This is a very, very serious concern of how we begin to stop and then eventually reverse the desert that's spreading.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for the Commission, I must say, Michel. In Africa, we have a saying that sometimes an event happens and you meet the star that will light you your way. And I think we have this time around. I hope we'll collaborate very closely with you, and we see you as a star. You are our Al Jazeera, I hope, and then we'll see how we can go from here.
Très bon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Merci bien.